YouTube has gone through a lot of trends and metas over the years. The algorithm constantly changes and in turn decimates channels in its wake. One big change was when YouTube decided to prioritize watch hours over raw views. Meaning it didn't matter how many people watched your videos, it mattered how long they watched your videos. This change became a sink or swim situation for a lot of creators. Basically anyone who put more effort in their video besides clicking record on Bandicam and uploading it to YouTube. Anyone who put thought and effort into their videos was being punished for it. I mean, a lot of genres almost died overnight. Skit channels, animation channels. One genre that took it pretty hard was something that I like to call VFX tubers. Channels like RocketJump, Action Movie Kid, and Corridor Digital. YouTube was slowly turning them into castaways. A second thought, they don't need to be remembered. With channels like these, their whole content model was based on taking a long time crafting these amazingly well edited, well choreographed, and amazing looking skits and shorts, which would showcase their creativity and talents with every video. Most of the time it's live footage compositing, but sometimes it's full-on animations, like the classic first-person Mario, the original Focus M. Or sometimes it's just Freddie Wong with a GoPro on his head calling it Call of Duty. Listen, YouTube was pretty easy back then. I mean, these guys were YouTube royalty, and they had a true rags to riches story. The Corridor gang and the RocketJump crew used to live together under the same roof, trying to chase this YouTube dream. And through a series of collabs and right place, right time videos, they were eventually able to achieve that dream and turn YouTube into their careers. They were able to consistently create viral videos. They would show up in every YouTube event like Rewind almost every year. They would win awards like Streamies, and at least for Freddie, who by this point had changed his channel from Freddie W to RocketJump, just straight up started making videos with mainstream celebrities like Jimmy Kimmel and Key and Peele. And he also made the immensely popular video game High School series. On the other hand, Corridor had Portal Trick Shots. And by God, I love them so much more. I was way more of a fan of Corridor than RocketJump. Not to say that one was better than the other. Corridor was better. But Freddie Wong's content just never clicked for me. Even if on paper he was technically the more successful one of the duo, had more mainstream collaborations and bigger videos at the time, to me he always felt like more of a studio than an actual YouTuber. With Corridor, no matter how impressive their VFX got, and trust me, their VFX got really fucking good, they always kept that two dudes and a dream type of energy, which just really drove me and a lot of other people to them. Apart from having heaters like clock blockers, dubstep guns, the glitch, real GTA, vape cod, tiny guns, anime self-driving cars, anime fidget spinners, I can go on. Like in terms of interesting pop culture and gaming adjacent shorts and skits, these guys are the greatest to ever do it. That combined with the amazing breakdowns that they put out alongside every single video that they made, and the newly launched crew vlogs was just the cherry on top of this amazing product. Can you tell that I really like Corridor Crew? And obviously I'm not the only one that felt that way. When YouTube launched YouTube Red, they had none other than Corridor come out and create a fully original 8-episode sci-fi show for them. Got funding from Dwayne Johnson and even had him in the show, even if it was just a glorified green screen. But YouTube had enough trust in these two former bedroom VFX artists to give them this humongous budget and allow them this opportunity to create such a big show. And on the other hand, RocketJump had launched their own show on Hulu called RocketJump the Show. Listen, they're just VFX artists, not like actual artists. And yes, Corridor did have big projects before Lifeline, like the Sync series or the Rush series. But what I'm trying to say is, these guys were leveraging YouTube to its fullest extent. Every video that they would upload would get millions upon millions of views. They would constantly up the fidelity of their cinematography, their visual effects, sound design, every aspect of the video with every subsequent upload. I mean, I still look at videos like real life Mario Kart, which when you look at when it was released, you'd be like, oh, this is probably something I can easily pull off. But even to this day, the effects have my jaw on the floor. I technically understand how everything is done. I can technically open up After Effects, Blender, and technically get a shot like this. But the amount of time, effort, and frankly creative vision that goes into this is something that I'll probably never be able to do. And they kept up with the times as well. They created a Fortnite video, which was launched 7 years ago, which really puts into question my perspective of time. Tiny Guns and Tactical Reloads are still some really good YouTube videos. They made anime rock, paper, scissors, which put them into immense shit because they used generative AI back when it was just launching, and the fact that they used proprietary anime frames to train their data. Listen, this is like a bad moment for Corridor. They were really into AI and like we didn't understand ramifications of it. But by the time Anime Rock Paper Scissors 2 came out, they did start using their own frames that they commissioned, which I can applaud them for, not stealing other artists' work, but the video still looks like shit. So it's that much more unfortunate that this platform screwed them over big time. Once YouTube transitioned into prioritizing watch hours over raw views, people like Corridor and Freddie Wong just wouldn't have their content pushed as hard. The only way to sustain not only them, but the teams that they inevitably built to support these projects was for each video release to get tens of millions of views, which frankly was just not possible. The same company which put them on a pedestal slowly left them out to die. Both these guys' main channels slowly fizzled out and just eventually stopped uploading regularly. I mean, look at the state of their channels now. It's desolate. While the Corridor crew was trying to stay afloat with these YouTube changes, Freddie Wong and RocketJump essentially just checked out of YouTube entirely. His longtime Brandon had quit his channel quite a long time ago to create a VR game company called Stress Level Zero, which made the modest little game Boneworks. They were still releasing shorts, but Freddie Wong announced that RocketJump would be changing up its ways. He wanted to transition his company from a content creation group to an actual production company. And they launched their own original show, Dimension 404, on Hulu, which ran for 1 season. And they stopped uploading entirely in 2018, probably in anticipation for this transition. But between 2018 and 2025, there's not really much that you can find publicly that they ever did. Their website is half broken. The credits that they list are from very old videos that were when they were still uploading for YouTube. They could have some uncredited VFX works here and there, but I can't find anything. However, in between this break, they were running the Story Break podcast up until 2021, and then they launched the Dungeons and Daddies podcast. So between this break, those are the only 2 places where you could really find Freddie Wong consistently. That was until he finally came back and announced his first feature film, We're All Gonna Die, which finally showed the world his new path: filmmaker. And he did announce his return, but he still didn't upload anything. Currently, Freddie Wong is working on his next feature film, which will hopefully be a bigger success than the first. I mean, the creativity that these guys have need to be shown to a broader audience, to be honest. And weirdly, RocketJump is in the midst of another YouTube meta. The YouTubers turned filmmakers. This probably wasn't done on purpose, but it's cool to see that this guy who was at the forefront of an older meta be almost at the forefront of this new meta that YouTube has created. And it's really cool how it just all worked out. And he and his team was able to find another path to be successful in. Now, on the other side of this coin, Corridor tried to stay closer to the content creator path. And they were pretty smart about this early on. Really early into their career, they launched the Sam and Nico channel, where they would post vlogs and breakdowns of their videos. They later renamed it to the Corridor Crew channel and put basically all their focus on that channel. That's where all the views were, after all. And people loved it. They launched their gaming channel, Node, which is dead. They launched the Corridor Cast, which might as well be dead. They launched the Guillotine channel, which died, then got resurrected as Crew Cuts, where their vlogs would stay after they ended them on the main Corridor Crew channel, which then died. I'm sensing a pattern. Corridor then went on to find basically a money printing machine with the VFX Artists React series, which to my knowledge is the only goddamn series they've ever worked on long term. Then Ren started dropping the VFX Artists Revealed series, which was also a massive hit. Basically, Corridor had found their second win with this second channel. They didn't need to rely on making this humongous skits and shorts that would or would not work, would take months to make, and there's a very good chance YouTube just... But at some point, it started feeling like they had a crew just for the vlogs, because they basically stopped dropping stuff on the main channel unless it was a brand collaboration. And hold on, they stopped vlogging as well, relying solely on the React series and the challenge series that they do. Wow, they do a lot in their second channel, huh? So as Corridor Crew started gaining immense momentum, they launched their own website, CorridorDigital.com, which would be a streaming service for their exclusive content and a way to get funding from their fans directly. This meant they could actually start making big budget series in an efficient way. Series that fans always wanted to see. They launched a greenlight feature where you could fund projects directly. And for all the new fans, they could finally see what these VFX artists are capable of. Because for a while there, they called themselves VFX artists, and there was nothing to back them up. This is going to be a dawn of a new era for Corridor, into something even bigger than they already were, Maybe something akin to Dropout? A lot of people flocked over to see what this would entail. They kept teasing launching series based off their popular shorts like Tiny Guns and Tactical Reloads. Hi, me from the future here. I remember that in Tactical Reloads 3, at the end, they were plugging their Corridor Digital page and the fact that you can greenlight a series for Tactical Reloads. And I just wanted to get a clip of it. And while I was looking for it, I thought I was going crazy because I couldn't find it. But look.
Friends? Movie night?
Fuck Keanu Reeves.
Their ending logo isn't even there. There's a frame of it. They actually just cut it out. Okay. Anyways, back to the video. And they also announced exclusive series like Son of a Dungeon, which is a D&D playthrough, but with the actual scenarios acted out with some really good visual effects. They announced extended reacts, the return of the vlogs, in-depth tutorials. Like, for fans, this is revolutionary. But there is an unfortunate pattern with how Corridor handle their content. They always have this tendency to not being able to follow through with their content plans. As long as I could remember, they've always been trying to start something long term. They do it for about a year or so, and it just fizzles out. For reasons that are unknown. I mean, everything besides VFX Artists Reacts, but if you go on their website, yes, it's a way to directly support Corridor and the amazing content that they put out. And yes, I subscribed to it for a bit as well. But almost everything's last update was a year or more old. The only thing that's ongoing is Son of a Dungeon. They said that they're editing that right now, and they made their own green screen solution called Corridor Key for Son of a Dungeon. So there's active development on that. But everything else is just left bare, which is a bit sad to see. This is coming from the lens of an obtuse fan who cannot fathom the logistics of any sort of big project at all. And I understand that this is basically a stand-in for Patreon, but with the promises that they made way back when it launched, I feel like this has fallen a bit short. Yes, it brought the vlogs back, which was the reason I subscribed, but these guys have such creative ideas like Lifeline, like Sync, like Rush, Tiny Guns. And I personally got the feeling that launching this platform, they would be able to actually pursue making these things as series with funding that they would have never been able to get relying solely on AdSense. Maybe logistics, time, money, whatever got into the way, but it's relegated this site to just be a good-looking Patreon now. Also, why does everyone have a D&D series? Watching Corridor these days is a very different experience than it was just 10 to 12 years ago. And that's a very good thing. There's nothing more disheartening than seeing a YouTuber who used to get millions of views and amazing support just get washed out by the algorithm. The way Corridor reinvented themselves time and again is a very impressive feat. While it looks like Freddie and RocketJump is heading on a completely different path with their feature films, Corridor is sticking to their guns, their tiny guns. Their crew channel content is some of the most engaging content on YouTube, and the editing still trumps most editing on YouTube. It's just sad that they have to put their bread and butter content on the back burner. They sometimes release like once or twice a year. The last video on there is an advertisement for Sam's book, but it's still nice to see them thriving in this current landscape and keep that two dudes in a dream attitude. But it's still odd how everything besides the crew channel just isn't working out. I mean, would it really kill you to promote the Corridor podcast in one of these crew videos? Podcast money wouldn't hurt now, would it? I mean, just put like 15 ads in an hour. But what do I know? I'm not successful. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, drop a like, subscribe. Be on the lookout for more videos about topics that just interest me. I did reach out to Corridor, seeing if they want to do an interview. That's the first time I've ever done that. And I didn't get a response, so there's that. Anyways, what are you doing here? Get out.